So let's take a look at the technical specs of the Leagoo S9. It comes with a MediaTek MT6750 processor, and it runs on 4 gigs of RAM, and it has an internal storage of 32 gigabyte of RAM, expandable with a micro SD card, so that's okay. And it's not of the fastest phones, as you can see, but it gets the job done. It has a 3.5mm jack for audio, which is great, to be honest, and it has a 5.85 screen with a 720p resolution, which is actually not all that bad. You can see apps load a bit slower, which is logical, and well, let's go to the benchmarks. Antutu brings it to 52,101, which proudly tells me that I just beat 9% of users, which is absolutely not great. But it doesn't run with any stutters, and it gets the daily tasks done, albeit not so fast. I couldn't verify if there's actually the Sony IMX258 camera sensor in it, because Antutu told me verification was not possible yet, since the device was too young. So we take a look at that on a later time. Another thing they talked about and promised is the Ultra HD shot, which is actually more of a gimmick. But of course I tested it, and as you can see in the distance, in this slightly overexposed picture, you can see tiny little buildings. Well, of course, I did test the Ultra HD on it, and as you can see, I could get the buildings very close up, and there is no pixel forming there, and so yeah, that's the Ultra HD shot. When the light goes down, so does this gimmick, by the way. Then we go to the Geek bench scores, which are 646 for single core and 2138 for multi-core, which corroborates the Antutu results that this is not the fastest horse in the stable. But again, it gets the job done, and well, and one thing's for certain, the Leagoo S9 really feels nice in your hands. It's well built, it's well rounded, it's ergonomically built, and it's a joy to use. The back cover, of course, looks stunning with the breaking light effect. It shines in your hands. There is the so-called dual camera, which I'm rather convinced is only a single camera, since the bokeh effect is obviously software generated. More on that later. And then, of course, there's a fingerprint scanner. In my use, that fingerprint scanner never let me down. On the left side, there is the SIM tray, and on the right side you will find the volume rocker and the power on and off button. Let's turn on the screen, and of course there is the notch. Not a big fan of that one, but that's a personal thing, I suppose. And well, let's take a look at the cameras of the Leagoo S9 right. With sunny weather and enough light, the camera on the Leagoo S9 is pretty decent. Even the 8 megapixel front camera is not bad at all. But there's a big but. Things definitely turn for the worse when the light turns low. This is taken around 10 p.m. in the evening. And as you can tell, it's really grainy, and there's little to no sharpness at all. And to be honest, Leagoo, I expected better. This is definitely not proper video quality. However, in bright daylight, the Ultra HD gimmick works quite nice, as you can see. And so does the beautification mode on the front camera. Although I think it's a bit too much for my personal tastes, as you can see right now. And then there's the bokeh mode, which is, well, obviously the circle of fake again, compared to a Redmi shot right here. And let us compare some more shots with the Redmi Note 5, made on the same day in the same conditions, right behind each other. Not quite the same quality, as you can tell. Now let's take a look at the video. And then the last test will be moving with the camera. I'm walking at quite a fast pace now. Moving the camera about, just to see what happens. Okay. And just for comparison, I'm going to do the same thing with my Xiaomi Redmi Note 5 right now. Now just let's hope you see the difference between those two cameras. This is Papa Droid for WiredLeaks.com, and today we're going to show you the cameras of the Leagoo S9. This is a shot taken with the front camera of the Leagoo S9. I'm going to do a 360 for you just to give you an impression of what it does. There we go. Keep in mind it's a perfectly sunny day today, so that always works. Yeah, so this is the front camera. It's an 8 megapixel sensor, and as long as there's enough sunlight, it does a job quite well. Of course, I'm going to show you how it works in lesser light later on, but now let's switch to the rear camera, the 13 and 5 megapixel cameras, and it's claimed that the 13 megapixel is a Sony IMX258. Let's see what it does in real life. Switching to the rear camera right now. So right now I'm using the rear camera of the Leagoo S9, and as you can tell, it looks not bad at all at first glance. It takes a pretty decent shot. But now, let me step towards the light. And I think it's safe to say that the dynamic range of the Leagoo S9 is not one of the best. Especially in situations where you step from shadows into the light. You can focus on the dark parts, and then it's just too bright, overexposure. But all in all, considering this is a €120 phone, I think it's not all that bad. So all in all, is the Leagoo S9 phone worth buying? I think it is. It's fast, considering the 1.5 gigahertz octa-core processor that's in it. It's a MediaTek 6750T. So I mean, it's okay. It's a mediocre phone that just mid-range, low-end, just working fine. If you're looking for a decent camera phone, however, I would not recommend this phone. It's not bad, it can take a casual shot, but if you really want decent photos, I would say there are better phones in about the same price range available. Of course, they don't look like an iPhone X, but the question is, why would you want that? As you have noticed, I'm not a big fan of the notch design, and using the Leagoo S9 didn't make me a big fan. Thank you for watching. This is Papa Droid for WiredLeaks.com. See you guys in the next one.